Start with fire, add oil, let it simmer. From the crew at 58 Surf and Stab, this isn't just a podcast, it's a sensory experience. Fresh from the coast, full of flavor, and prepared to perfection. Well, kinda. This is 58 Surf and Turf. Let's get cooked. 58 Surf and Turf, we are back, and today we have a very special guest, Arakawa, one of the best shapers in the world. How are we doing?
Doing
good to have you here in Portugal.
Good. I think just got over jet lag.
Okay, and now you leave tomorrow.
I'll be getting ready to go home just to prepare for that whole process all over again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate those two places aren't too close together, Portugal and Hawaii. What? Yeah, maybe 20 hours on a flight to get here?
Yeah, actually, you know, it's actually pretty easy when you think about. I usually go to France, you know, this time of the year, just usually in the fall. And I'm missing at least another flight, another connection. So it's actually not quite as arduous as it normally is for me to get to Europe.
Yeah. At least if you're going to Southwest France, like you said, and they lose your shit more times than not.
I'm used to having to
just showing up in France and having zero surfboards.
Oh yeah,
at least you are in a good profession for showing up somewhere without surfboards. Just find some foam on your way.
Yeah.
Nice. So what brings you out to Portugal this time?
We're just getting ready to launch our brand out here in Portugal, and working with Blue Room with Romeo Ribeiro out here, and so this is actually of all the years I've been coming to Europe since '81. This is only my second time out here, and for me, I mean, this has already been discovered a long time ago, but for me, this is a new discovery, and it's pretty nice, pretty refreshing.
Yeah. Has it been a big gap since the last trip, or has the other trip been?
No, I was here last year.
Okay.
So
it took some time to get here.
It took me a long time to get here, and I've heard about the surf, and I've heard about the culture here, and just had no idea. If I would have known firsthand, I would have been coming here a lot more often.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, the good news is there's a lot of waves here that I think your boards will perform quite well. You have a lot of just heavy water.
Yeah,
slabs.
I don't know why it took me so long to get out here.
Well, I'm gonna order a board.
Better late than never, right?
Hey, here you are now.
Yeah.
Nice. And so what about France? What would bring you out there? Kind of same thing, just helping grow the brand over there?
And I have a lot of friends out there, and as you know what it's like, the French culture, and you've been there for several years previous, and I mean, it's easy to kind of fall into routine there. So and that's the way it was year after year.
Yeah. Well, a bit less cheese here, I'd say. It's still around though. You could sniff it out.
Yeah.
So how are you liking it though? I mean, having had I know you said before we came on air, you'd spend a bunch of time in England too, but having spent a bunch of time in Europe, but not so much Portugal, what's been your experience in these first two trips?
It's almost a little embarrassed to say, but it's just been a really new experience, and like as I mentioned earlier, new discoveries, and something that's been here for a long time, and surfers and other board builders coming here and really just enjoying the culture here. And for me, it's like, wow, it's almost like maybe in a way like it feels a little bit in essence like some of the early days in France. Just a little more pure, and just really more the essence of why we surf. So, with the culture and the waves, and and it's just I guess maybe the stage surfing is at in development. I feel like it's really maybe it's already just seen this huge growth spurt, and there's a lot of attention here on this coast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Fair to say.
For better or for worse,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to look at it with a perspective of the glass half full.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's still plenty of waves that you can get. I mean, probably when it's at its worst is if it's just kind of small and fun, then everybody wants to be in the water. And if you go to one of the busier waves, then you might not have a great time. But other than that, I think especially when there's some swell, obviously some spots, it's always gonna be kind of hard to get waves and a bit tense, but you can still get plenty of waves here. I think if anybody tries to say that it's too crowded or something, then I just don't really know what waves they're after.
Yeah. Well, I've been in conversations where there's been a few rumors where there's a few spots that you can get waves to yourself.
Yeah, they're around.
They haven't been revealed to me yet though, but I'm hearing that there are places like that.
Second trip, maybe by trip 3 or 4,
Yeah.
you'll get the pin.
Right. We'll see.
Nice. So you mentioned, did you say 81 was your first trip to France?
Mhm.
Wow. And how old were you then?
I was 21. Wow.
21.
Revealing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by then were you already just full on into shaping?
Oh yeah, I was. That's what I was pursuing, and I left college, left the university. I told my parents, my grandmother, I was dropping out and I was going to pursue shaping surfboards full time, and boom, off I went. I was gone.
Where were you in school at that time?
I was in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, and studying business,
Mm-hmm.
and then decided that I was going to start my own business and just, take off, and that's what I did. So never looked back.
Well, so you went right from that to starting your own.
Well, I was
brand, or
already
you
already shaping surfboards,
Mhm.
and part time, and I decided to pursue it full time.
Nice. What was your introduction to shaping like? Obviously, growing up where you grew up, I'd imagine you had access to some pretty incredible board builders.
Yeah, I mean, I was mentored by some really skilled craftsmen, but when I started, I knew nothing. Like basically, I commandeered my younger brother's surfboard. It was a really thick board, and I needed some foam. I needed a blank, and I didn't know where to get a blank, so I just took his board, stripped all the glass off, and used the foam inside of that to build myself a board. It was a really thick board. It must have been at least 3.5 inches thick.
Wow.
And by the time I was done, my board was probably 2 1/8 thick. Just whittled it down to just almost nothing. But yeah, that was my first board. I remember it clearly.
Wow. Did you like glass it yourself too?
I glassed it myself, and again, I brought a friend of mine that was my age, and he had an older brother that had glassed a few boards, and so we just tried to gather up as many information. There's no Google, no YouTube,
Yeah.
and we just winged it, and I thought it was a beautiful board, but in the end, it turned out to be the worst board I've ever ridden. It was horrible.
I'm not sure I've heard too many success stories about the rebuilding a board from stripping
It was the absolute worst board I've ever ridden. I mean,
so
it was not even a close second.
All uphill from there then, I guess.
Yeah, that's all. I could only get better.
You'd hate to, go in the wrong way.
Maybe that's just the way that's the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just absolute dog. But
It
you're
was
still like,
it was
I want to keep doing this.
it was worse. It was worse than a dog. Yeah.
But it was still enough where you thought, was it something where you're like almost mad that it was so
So I
bad
guess
that you wanted
that's
to,
where
like,
I
get
guess
a do-over?
ignorance is bliss.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my first surf I ridden, it was really bad.
Uh-huh.
It was that bad.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 14.
14.
I mean,
Okay.
I couldn't even get down. I couldn't even get down the face of the wave. I mean, even
Not
pointing
ideal.
it down, basically just going over the falls. It just didn't want to go over the falls. It was that.
Refused that even.
It just wanted to go over the back.
I guess that's how Hawaiians measure waves. So I just wanted to
Oh yeah,
surf
yeah.
the back of the
Right,
waves.
Back of the wave, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wow. But so where did it go from there? You have this experience where you pursue that. Doesn't turn out great, but where do we do you find another just massively thick board to
Well, no. I mean, actually, the second board I started off from a real blank,
Whoa.
and a friend of mine, the same friend that helped me glass that first board, he asked me to shape a board for him, and I'm going like, and we're still friends,
Somehow.
Somehow we're still friends, and he took the board, he rode that. I don't remember how it rode. I didn't ride it. And then it was another friend, and then a friend of a friend, and then pretty soon, I was getting orders from people I didn't know, and then it just dawned on me one day. I thought, I think I'm in business,
Yeah.
But I remember charging $85 for a brand new board, tint and full pin lines and everything. $85.
Well, that was before business school though.
Yeah, I was exactly for business school, and I
Like, wait a minute.
probably losing $15
thing called
or
margin.
bigger if I probably I can make it up in quantity,
Yeah.
but my math was probably really bad at the time too. So yeah,
They should at least straighten that out a bit. And
yeah.
how far are you making business school? Like a year, 2 years,
Uh,
month?
yeah, I don't think it even really mattered.
Well, hey, at least I would imagine these days you make money when you sell surfboards. I think that's probably, you
Try
figured
to.
out the math on that.
Try to.
Try to
Yes.
somehow.
Try to.
Oh, nice. And so early days, you're already going international. You're going, I mean, as you're saying, like when you first started going to France, it was something, it seemed like it was probably an interesting era for the place, like probably a little bit more undiluted. I'd imagine like you walk down the main street of Hoscore now, you see a
Oh man, it
silver
wasn't.
billabong, rip curl,
Yeah.
salty.
There was none of that there.
Yeah.
Billabong wasn't there. Rip curl wasn't there. I remember being in, the Café de Paris, right in the middle of Osagor. I remember there being in there at night with Morris Cole. He introduced me to Francois Payot.
Mm-hmm.
Francois had just gotten out of the army and figuring out what to do. And next thing I know is Francois and Fred Bass put together some money and organized something, and they brought Rip Curl over. And so that was the start.
Yeah.
And there was none of those companies existed. It was all English companies that were bringing in wetsuits, gull suits, and blanks and all that.
Frenchies were probably looking for an excuse to
Oh
stop
yeah,
by.
and then Barlon in Bayonne was producing blanks, and they were building surfboards, but they were the only like commercial enterprise in the surf industry at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I would imagine too, just coming over, and I've even heard this from, some European shapers and companies to this day, where there's almost this self-limiting belief in a way where they think like, oh, the boards from California or Hawaii must be better. It's almost like, and I think there is still that perception sometimes, which I don't think is true. Obviously, people make different boards. You could just choose who you
Right.
like, but I think sometimes there's still like almost a stigma of like nervousness of like, oh, this came from Europe, so I'm not sure if it's as
Yeah.
good as these boards from Hawaii or
Yeah.
this or that. But I'd imagine back then it was coming over with as a Hawaiian shaper, you probably didn't have too many orders because it wasn't so busy, but I'd imagine that it already came with a reputation of people knowing they're going to get a
Yeah.
good board.
I think the biggest thing was the lack of resources and supply, and so even for me going there, my first trip there, it was trying to get blanks was a bit of a challenge. We get blanks from Barlon, but their production was very small, so they keep the best blanks for themselves for their own production. You can see why. And if we couldn't get any blanks from there, we'd have to get them from England.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't come with stringers, so we'd have to cut them, or they were already cut, and we'd have to glue our own stringers in there.
Yeah.
And it was a hassle. So it wasn't that easy, and so you really had to want to do it to do it.
Long way, 40 years later, here you are.
Mm.
Just have to, scrub some things down after they come out of
It's
the
all
machine.
easy, and then I'll working off computers.
No more gluing it together.
Yeah, no gluing. I just, I'd be doing something else if I had to glue blanks. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm thankful for that.
nice. And so we're still in the 80s here. Let's ramp it up. Let's go back. Let's go forward a little bit, maybe to like the 90s. What's your life like in the 90s as a board builder?
Yeah, started to get hectic, and the business grew, and we were still hand shaping boards, and it wasn't a fun time.
Hmm.
So I guess it's the old cliche, be careful what you wish for, and you want the business to grow, and you want to succeed, and you get all this work, and felt like I was on a treadmill.
Yeah.
And in hand shaping, and so you have all these orders, and you're just going 9 rounds with the blank, every blank, and then I was traveling too. I was still traveling. I was going to Japan, shaping surfboards, and that was a whole nother situation. Just building boards. I mean, I go there for 2.5 months, and one trip I shaped almost 400 boards off the blank in 2.5 months.
Oh wow.
I mean, that was a trip that just almost broke me.
So why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? the money was good, but I just like, why am I doing this? Like,
Not even able to enjoy it.
no, I didn't want to enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it, and all I could think about was just getting done, just getting home, getting back home, having a surf, and and for that, I think the '90s was, for me, it was a season of lost years, just wondering, what am I doing, and did I make a mistake? Should I stayed in school? And maybe I should have listened to my grandmother, and yeah, and then yeah, that's what it was. And then there are some really good things that I took away from that, and valuable lessons I learned from that period. And so I wouldn't trade that away, but it really comes to, you really have to look in and evaluate why did you start? Why did I choose this path in the beginning? So, and I don't think it's uncommon, but often you lose your why. And I had to come back to that and find out, like, why am I doing this?
So?
I know why. I know exactly why. I'm motivated. I enjoy this just as much as I ever did. But yeah, there was a time where I was a bit lost.
So what is the why? What do you love most about building boards?
The why is, it's connecting with my customers, with people, just people in general. And so, I just truly believe that surfing is a gift. It is. And and it's not just for myself, it's for me to share. And that I need to steward that over what's been given to me. And so, and not to abuse it, to do right by it, and really mostly do right by people. And so I'm wearing this hat. So like, this is something that my son put together, and he's the one that's I'm raising up to take over the business. But it says Mahalo ke akua no ka he'e nalu ana. So that means, in Hawaiian, mahalo means thank you, right? Many people know what that is. Ke akua means God. So thank God for surfing. He'e nalu is surfing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no direct translation for surfing in Hawaiian, but he'e is the word for sliding.
Yeah.
Nalu is wave. So thank God for wave sliding. The ana is the emphasis. And so, yeah. And so, like, for me, it's debatable, but, surfing started in Hawaii, like, debatable. But so, like, I see it as being from Hawaii, I'm ambassador of that. And also I see myself as an ambassador of the craft, and so, I don't take it lightly that this is what I do. And for years after the '90s, I mean, I was trying to get out of the business, but I felt like I was tied to it. As much as I tried to get out of it, I just got sucked right back into it. But the second time around, it was with a whole new vision. And so that made all the difference. So, like, back home, Sunday, I don't work on Sundays, and Sunday evening, I'm already thinking, like, all right, tomorrow's Monday. I'm going back. I'm going back to my factory.
Go back.
Yeah.
Nice.
Back to on the mission, and so, and I look forward to Monday mornings most of the time. Not every Monday morning, but most of the time in general, I look forward to going back there, because that fulfills my why.
Yeah.
And connecting with people.
Given that, do you ever just trip on the number of people who you must have made really happy and really able to connect deeply with surfing over all the years that you've been shaping?
That's the most satisfying part, right? Because, I mean, we're never going to get rich with building boards, but the treasure comes in the relationships. And look, I'm in Portugal, and I'm talking to you. Like, when I started back when I was 14, after my first sport, I mean, it was no way. I mean, the farthest thought in my mind would be like, this surfing and building surfboards would bring me here to Portugal, much less Japan or anywhere else, and but I'm here and I'm in this beautiful shop and I'm just like, how far has surfing come? If it started in Hawaii, I mean, look at this. It's on the opposite side of the globe. And I just think it's a beautiful thing. And if part of my why is to be a steward and a custodian of the craft of building surfboards, and then seeing where the sport has come and being in the shop and talking to you, I mean, it's beautiful. For me, it's like, okay, I'm so glad to be part of this. Yeah.
I really like that. And I really like hearing it because I feel like I don't think it's universal, even the majority of people, but sometimes people these days complain about the state that which surfing's in. Maybe they don't like something that WSL is doing, or maybe they don't like how crowded Bali's gotten, or this or that. And especially hearing it from a Hawaiian perspective, it's like, yes, you said it's debatable. Sure, maybe people were riding waves on the coast of Peru or here or there before, around the same time as it was being done in Hawaii. But I don't think it's debatable that our interpretation of surfing came from Hawaii. Like there's a very clear link from what was being done there to where we're at today. And that's why I think it's so funny if people be like, oh, so much surfing looked cooler in the 90s or had this culture or that. I'm like, why would it have to stay frozen in time? Everything always changes. Why would it, like, what about that specific little snapshot of time is supposed to like remain and just be frozen there? You know, it's like we've evolved a lot since where it came from. It's going to keep changing. And no matter what, like, it's still like I surfed today and my day was 100% better because of it. Like that doesn't change no matter what clothing somebody's wearing or anything like that.
No, I mean, ask me if I want to go back to gluing blanks up myself or hand shaping boards every single day. I still hand shape. I think I do it, but I don't have to. And so it makes it even more enjoyable. But there, you know what, you can look at just about everything under the sun and something new that actually goes through stages of maturity, and there's always abuses. And so you can look at the glass half empty or the glass half full, and I think it's good to take a positive perspective. There's so many good things that have come out of this, and yeah, of course, like your local breaks have gotten more crowded, but you know, I mean, if you look at it as, I guess if you look at everything you have as it's really not your own, but you're a steward of that, and to not waste it, to not corrupt it, and to share it, then it takes on a whole different light. And again, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get dropped in on, you know. I mean, I get less and less waves. The older I get, the fewer waves I get. But you know, I'm still going out there just because I love to surf.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. And that's why I build boards. That's how it all started.
Yeah.
So going all the way back to that first board, never intended to build a board for anybody else. It was just for me. I was too young to get a job. Boards were like $100 back then, a brand new board. It tells me like how things have changed. $100, maybe the really expensive ones were 120. And I'm 14-year-old. I mean, how am I going to make that much money?
Yeah.
And so I decided I'm going to go, I know where I can get a blank from. It's from my brother's board, you know?
Yeah.
And I took that and I thought I'd take a shortcut. And so it was the reason for me to build that first board was just so that I could get in the water.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the start. I just wanted to surf.
Too bad everybody saw you surfing so good on it and needed to start stacking.
You know what? I mean, it's a good thing there were no video cameras back then, because if people saw me surfing that board, I'd never have a customer. So, you know, so there's a positive take away from that too. The worst board never got videoed.
Yeah. That is no Surfline camera rewind.
No, I can imagine. Yeah.
Been in trouble.
Yeah.
You mentioned relationships before, just being able to be a steward for surfing and then use that to connect with people who are, you know, looking to surf and obviously need some boards. Relationships are very big when it comes to team riders. Obviously, you've had an incredible team over the years. You know, your board has won a CT in the last year. Jack won. He won Fiji or Tahiti?
He won Tahiti.
Tahiti. Yeah. So even just in the last 6 months or something, your board has been winning a CT in a very impressive way too, just really needing that result. How has it been? Like, who have been some of your favorite people to work with over the years in terms of team riders?
Well, I mean, obviously Jack's been good. He's really easy to work with, and I've been building boards for him since he was just a Grom.
Yeah.
And so there's that connection there. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to work with. There's been the other guys, yeah, obviously like Andy, man, Tiago Perez, from right from here, from this town, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he'd come every year, and I build boards for him. And that was another thing. It's just that having servers of that caliber come from Europe and connecting with me, I thought that was a really cool thing. But yeah, I mean, there's been a number of guys over the years, hockey, but the one server that really kicked off my career was Michael Ho. Michael Ho, and then his brother to follow, Ronnie Burns. But Michael, he was the one, and I was really young at the time when I started building his boards, and I thought I knew a lot, but when I started working with him, I realized I didn't really know a whole lot at all.
Was he just crazy with levels of
feedback? He knew, and he worked with Dick Brewer. He was riding Brewers and Lopez's, and Mike was pretty at the top of his game. He was on the tour, and he understood board design. So he understood the science behind it that might have come from Brewer and Lopez. And he took me through boot camp. He took me through boot camp.
Wow.
And but it was a painful experience, as you can imagine what boot camp would be like. You're tested, but coming out of it, that made all the difference in my career. And the good thing with Michael is that he was brutally honest. He didn't pull any punches, but that's exactly what a young shaper needs.
Yeah,
is honesty, straight talk, and how the board works, and not only the negatives, but some of the positives. Because otherwise you just throw the towel in. But Mike knew how to deliver the truth, and he knew how to communicate that. So that was good, really good. And so I'm really thankful for Michael, connecting with Michael right at the beginning, early stages.
Yeah. And then what was it like building boards for Andy?
Andy was a little different. Andy was not as engaged. He didn't really understand board design, and thankfully I knew a bit more at that stage. And Andy just he just take boards out and just surf them.
Either like him or he doesn't.
Yeah, I like him. He didn't really communicate a whole lot. He'd come in, pick up his boards, and happy-go-lucky. And often he'd take boards out and surf them in contests, never tested. He'd wax boards up and
just go.
I just tell him, man, don't do that. Don't do that. And even after, I remember he'd fallen off tour and actually had a heat on pipe. He had a heat against Luke Egan. It was the semis or the quarters at the Pipe Masters, and it was massive, just big on the second reef. And Andy's late for his heat. Luke was already out there already, and Andy hadn't even paddled out. And he waxes up to 7.6. It never ridden before. He waxes it up, and he's late for his heat. And he paddles out, and he just goes straight out past the first reef, paddles past Luke, paddles straight out to the second heat, and just waits. And then catches this bomb and just does this just massive turns, and just like on a 15-foot wave on the second reef, just doing these figure eight cutbacks and just hitting the whitewater, not like avoiding it, but just attacking it. And then he just did this a couple of times, and it just started to like heave and just started to suck out in the first reef and just dropped down and pulled and just got this massive barrel. Got a 10 on it.
Yeah, sounds like a 10.
Oh yeah, it's got a 10, and Luke had already come in, and he got that one wave, and one of two waves, and won the heat. But Luke had already come in and thought maybe he had won, but Andy got that one last wave, and But it was like that, and he came in. I just go, Andy, you know, it's like, don't. Congratulations on the that he win, but don't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just got to see that all standing on the
That wasn't
beach.
it wasn't the only time he did that, but it was just that, just brash and bold, and just he just go out and do it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been able to be at many events where your team rider wins? Have you had that experience just being
Yeah.
We're on the channel.
On the channel?
In the channel? Sorry.
In the channel. Yeah, there's been a few. I mean, there's been Pipe Masters, been events at Hawaii, most of them at Hawaii, but most of them, I'm sorry, in Hawaii, just because it's right there. So
yeah,
I've been there, seen many of them. Yeah. I counted Liam McNamara. He and Louise own a surf shop in Hawaii, and they're carrying our boards from now on. He asked me to put together a plaque for them of all the victories on the North Shore over the years. And so I never did that. So I had to just kind of go through just some of the record books and Google these different titles, and kind of like 50 of them.
Wow.
Just on the North Shore, not abroad, nothing in Tahiti or Fiji. You know, we've had victories in Tahiti, Fiji, Australia, South Africa, Europe. But just for Hawaii, we counted 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any win that sticks out, like that you've been able to just witness in person? Any event that you were there that a guy on your board won that seemed particularly meaningful for you?
Yeah, there's three that really stick out. One was the first North Shore victory, first victory on my boards at that level, and that was Michael Ho winning the Pipe Masters with that cast on his arm.
Yeah.
So I was pretty young at the time, and yeah, so that was my first experience seeing my boards in a final and winning at that level. The second one would be Andy coming from behind, winning the Pipe Masters against Kelly and taking the title away. So he came in trailing Hawaii, the world title race behind Kelly, 500 points. But at that time, the way the points were allotted, the point spread, 500 points was pretty much a slam dunk. I mean, Kelly had it.
Yeah.
He just, it had to be a perfect storm against Kelly for Andy to take it, but Andy took it. So I remember being on the beach there and watching that, and we had spoken earlier before the season and talking about his quiver, and it came down to a 6.6, and Andy, when at the beginning of the season, he ordered his quiver, he ordered 2 6.6s, and then right at the end of the conversation, I stopped. I said, you know what, Andy, I think we need to do 3. We need to do one more 6.6, because I just have this feeling that it's going to come down to 6.6s. That's my gut feeling.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really important board. And a 6.6 back then, I mean, we were, for all the tour guys, I mean, they were coming in, I was shaping 7.6s, a lot of 8-footers back then. And so people were riding longer boards. They were narrower, they were thinner. But that year, I said, 2003, I said, let's throw another 6.6. And I said, good. Okay, sounds good. So it came down to that. Andy made it to the final at Sunset. Kelly lost early. It went straight to Pipe. Andy closed the gap a little bit, but it was still really a long shot. Andy had to make it to the final. And as long as Kelly kept advancing, once Kelly got to the quarters or the 4th round, Andy had to get to the final.
Yeah.
And then once Kelly got to the quarters, Andy had to win. There was no way. He had to win, even if Kelly lost. And so Kelly kept advancing, and Kelly ended up in the final with Andy, with, I think it was Phil McDonald and I can't remember someone else. And it was a 4-man final. And backing up a little bit, in the quarters, the first quarter, Andy broke a board. It came down to 6.6s the whole day. He broke his first 6.6, surfed in the semis, broke his second 6.6, and had to go to his last one. And in the final, rode his last 6.6. And that was the board, and he won it beat Kelly and took the world title with.
Yeah.
So that was the second one. And then the third one was just recently, just back in Tahiti, just a few months ago, where Jack, to make it to the final five, he had to win the event.
Yeah.
And I mean, coming in the beginning, he had to win the event, and that's what he did.
Wow.
So-
Well, that was an incredible moment. And then, yeah, the Michael Helcast one and the
Yeah.
Andy Kelly final.
Yeah.
It's two of the most iconic moments in Pipe Masters history.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
incredible stuff. Now, Jack, I asked before, I made a mistake by asking if you won Tahiti or Fiji this year, because if he won Fiji, he would be our world champion. Next year's a different story. It is ending at Pipeline again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty fair to say Jack will be up there in that top five again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a question we've actually posed to a few shapers at Stab. But basically, if Jack is in position to win the world title and somebody, I don't know if Gabe or John or whoever is going to compete again, basically, if, let's just throw Griffin's name out there.
Okay.
If those guys are both really close to winning next year's world title, and Griffin's trying to order a few boards from you before Pipe, are you saying yes or no?
Put me on the spot, right? But it'll be no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm putting it out in the air ways, but no, it's no. I decided that I don't have to build boards for everybody,
Yeah.
and there is I think there is maybe there's unspoken code out there, and it's with our industry, it just seems to be a free for all. But I decided this year or late last year that I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
And there is a conflict of interest, and I'm respecting the relationship that the other surfers have with their shapers, and I mean, I really think it's really incumbent on the surfer to work with their shaper. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd say we get that answer more often than not. I mean, there's a fan, not really famous, but just a funny story that we've dug up of Jordy was really trying, and Jordy, he's bounced around shapers over the years, but he really wanted to get his hands on a Paizel, and Paizel was saying no, just because he, didn't want to.
right.
I think he was just protecting some of his team riders, and so Jordy ended up actually using his manager, Duma, who's kind of a similar sized guy, to order some boards. Just snuck in some boards that were for Jordy, but through his manager. Mm-hmm. And then Paizel noticed, like, he even got them painted a certain way, and I think all of a sudden Paizel just had recognized the board in a photo or something, and just a funny one. It didn't end up being a significant board for any heat wins or anything like that, but just a funny story of guys trying to find a backdoor way to get boards after being denied.
Yeah, it's funny. It's so, like, back in like the 80s, it wasn't really like that. Surfers really, they stuck to their shapers. Occasionally you go outside, but that was the exception, not the norm. And the surfers, and there was less money back then, and the surfers really worked with, they spent time. There was this level of work ethic you don't see. It's very rare now, and you would think you would see more because of the money involved.
Yeah.
And what's at stake. So yeah, for me it's puzzling, and I long to see that level of work ethic being applied to these relationships, on the tour. And yeah, I think part of it too is, like, there is this I call it tacking to cover. So maybe because of all the money, the opposite opposite takes place, is where you have this principle of tacking to cover. Like, it's a yacht sailing racing term. So when you have boats in a race, two boats, you have the lead boat and the trailing ones. They really watch what wind they're taking. So they're often they try to stay on the same tack.
Yeah.
So they know they're getting the same wind. If the lead boat sees that the trailing boat, the boat that's chasing them, gets a different tack, they'll take the same tack, so they know they're getting the same wind. So they know the trailing boat's not going to gain on them.
Yeah.
But the opposite's true too. So sometimes when they see the lead boat, the trailing boat, they'll see the lead boat taking a certain tack. That trailing boat will take the same tack too, so they don't fall behind.
Yeah.
And at the right time, they try to make their move. And so they hope for a mistake. And you see this happening on the tour. You see who's in the lead. You go, you know what? He's having success there. I'm going to take that. But it's not always about that. You know? And I think there's a lot lost. There's a lot not realized because surfers aren't applying that work ethic. And then the board builders, the surfboard companies, the shapers aren't demanding that, or that's not defined in the agreements, the contracts, in the relationship. So, again, it's like, you can say, well, look, they're doing it, so why can't I do it? You know?
Yeah.
So, but it's just, I feel that is, that's something in our industry that can be improved upon, and we can raise that level of professionalism and effort, integrity.
Yeah, especially with just given how important relationships are and that trust is.
Yeah. So, I mean, you wouldn't see that in other sports. You know, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 81, we're not too far off from MR shaping his own 20s, winning world titles on them. Obviously, I think it's a lot of people have a good idea of how just a high performance shortboard has changed from 81 till now. Different eras this kind of went through. What about a big wave board? How much, I mean, obviously it's kind of a broad question, because even if the pipe's good, you'll see somebody on a 7.6 and you'll see somebody on a 5.11, 6.0. Different approaches. Somebody's sitting much further out. Somebody's really trying to knife under it. But like, any just kind of broad changes you've seen in the kind of big, let's say a board for pipe from the early 80s till now, like broad stroke changes you'd call out?
I mean, obviously the boards are much shorter.
Yeah.
They got more rocker. It's interesting with the longer boards. Guys were getting a little earlier. You would think they were taking off deeper, but the surfers are taking off deeper now.
Yeah.
With these shorter boards, and I think there's a point of diminishing return. You can go short, you can go too short for sure. I think often some of the boards are too short, and if I see any trend, they're getting a little longer right now. But boards with more rocker, you're able to put yourself in a more critical part of the wave and taking off deeper. So the boards now will allow you to take off underneath the lip, where you couldn't do it with a 7.6 pipe pintail. You just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It would poke, it wouldn't fit. And it wouldn't even hold into the face. So because the boards right now, the shorter boards with the advent of the thruster and the quads, you can take off later and still knife into the wave. You couldn't do that on a 7.6 pipeline pintail.
Yeah, but you are seeing a trend.
Single fin.
You know, obviously it's not going back up to 7.6, but you are seeing a trend where people are starting to go a little bit longer, like almost feeling like it's pendulum swinging back a little bit from.
Yeah, not quite, to classic 7.6 pipeliner, but
just another inch here or there.
Yeah, going a bit longer. Just in board going through different nuances, but you see the old school or the uncles taking off on the bigger boards because they just need it, and they still do it. You know, I've seen recently Tom Carroll take out a 7.2, 7.4 out there, and just, I remember him saying before he went out, he goes, "I'm going to show these guys how to ride a board," and he was just threading the needle in little barrels, and and I think there are advantages once you're in the barrel. You're able to handle the foam ball better, and you're able to like punch through. I mean, it's once you're on there, but But being able to put yourself in that really critical position, the shorter boards with the rocker really help you to, to pull that off.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was even there. It was still a few winters ago, but last time I was there, the shootout was on, and they got really good waves for it. They seem to tend to do that.
Uh-huh.
But I think maybe they were even in the same. Were they in the same? No, maybe they weren't. But Mason was riding something really long, something probably above 7 foot, and it just contrasts a lot with Barron was probably like pushing the limits of
6'4".
something
Right.
very small for
Mm-hmm.
stuff that was feathering on the second reef and then going full force the first. But it's just so interesting to see two very different approaches to the same wave. Guys, they're still, I'd say, a different generation. Actually, Mason quite a bit older, but still interesting.
Well, and then with Mason Ho, that's the direct influence and tutelage of Michael, his dad. And so you got these guys there that they advocate just having a bit more length. And you look at Mason, it can be done. You just have to know how to ride a longer rail, how to negotiate that rail, on the wave. So
yeah.
Done.
Well, I've had you for some time here. I'm gonna only ask you one more question. It's a broad one. Sometimes broad ones are annoying, but I think you're gonna do good.
We'll
no
see.
pressure. Any advice? Actually, two more. First of all, I'll ask, what are the most common mistakes you see people make when ordering boards? Volume?
Read my mind. That's a very broad question, but that's the first thing is, volume, just hyper focusing on volume. I had a customer come into my factory, and occasionally I'll be out in the showroom and I just walk them through the process. And this guy walked in and I said, "Hey, so I'm gonna help you. How, do you have any questions?" And he goes, "Oh, no, yeah, I'm looking for a board." And I go, "So what do you have in mind?" He goes, "I don't know. All I need is my number's 35. I need 35 liters. That's it. I'm 35. That's all you. That's
no matter how you get
length
there.
with 35. Okay. Okay. How about 5'10", 16 inches wide, and 5 inches thick. I think I could probably get about 35 liters."
Yeah.
And he just stopped and he just realized like how ridiculous it was just to go ahead and just, shoot off the number and think that he can get to what he really needs just by saying 35 or whatever that number, 28, 30, so, yeah. So I'm gonna add to that. So Rusty. So, I actually got Rusty onto like using this DSD system. It's a CNC machine, and using this CAD program. And what this CAD program allows us to do was to calculate or just to spit out volume. This based on length, width, and thickness and the contours. It would give us a volume calculation. And I never used it. I just didn't take a whole lot of notice. And then Rusty tells me he would come over every year and shape my factory, and he told me, he goes, "I'm going to start putting volume on the boards." He's the very first guy that I saw doing that. And I go, "Sure. You want to open up that can of worms?" People are going to start ordering boards based on just that number. And sure enough, I don't know, 10 years later, a guy comes in and says, "I want 35. That's my number."
Oh, Rusty.
No, but it's a good point of reference. And so the thing is like, okay, we need to educate our customers, our surfers. So I don't think it was a bad thing, but we have to get to that place and move past that awkward stage where people are hyper focusing on volume.
Sure. So now the inverse of that question, any piece of advice for just broad advice for people ordering boards?
You know what? Develop a relationship with your shaper. Find a shaper that's experienced, that can build boards for your local break, and work with them.
That's simple.
Easy.
There it is. 35. Cool.
All right. Cool.
That was beautiful, man.
That was easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Real pleasure.
Yeah, that was good.